Hey YouTube, how are you today? This video is going to be a two-part video. It is based off what I saw on another YouTuber's video who I respect as an expert with PSA. That is SVC or SCV. I should know his name. I watch his videos and I enjoy them. Anyway, long story short, PSA has, how should I say, factory workers working there. Now, in some of these instances, this card here I didn't notice, so I'm to blame for this. If you notice, if you look at it real carefully, it looks like somebody took a paper clip and poked holes in it. I hope you can see it. Do you see that? And they called it an 8 marker. You see that? So this got an 8 marker. So obviously this stays in my collection. I'm not selling any of these cards, but I am going to crack these two 7s because I've used my tool on this one and this one, and it says that they are basically perfectly lined up. The edges are perfect. The surface is perfect. This one, again, they're factory workers over there at PSA. This one was damaged. Could you see that edge? It wasn't like that. It was not, clearly was not like that when I shipped it to them. See that? You see that there? That wasn't like that. That was not like that at all. This card should have been a Gem Mint 10. But they damaged it at PSA. I don't know if there's any recourse in reaching out to them about it. So again, this stays in my collection. So these two 8s are what they are. They're mine forever. Whatever. These 7s, I am going to crack these bad boys because they are, I took them to I used my tool from this edge here to this edge here. It's perfect. To this edge here, it's perfect. Edges, perfect. That little white spot there, I don't know if that's part of the card or not, but this is perfect, this card. And now I'm even seeing like a little crack, little thing across the back here. I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, you can see it there. That wasn't there either. This card should have been a 10. I don't know how it could be a 7. So I believe when they get these orders, they give you the standard 10s on what looks really pristine, and then they have to throw in some 9s, and then they have to punish you somewhere along the line. So these are 2 orders here, and they have to throw in a 7 and 8. They can't give you all 10s. It's just probably not feasible in the industry for whatever reason. They don't want too many 10s out there. I don't know. You know, this is a hobby for me, so I'm not really that in depth. As far as the centering on this, I took the tool to it. It's, you know, perfect. I mean, it's side to side. It's 3-3. Top to bottom, it is. If you go by, say here, you can't really. It's different down here. You can't compare this to this because that's just how the card is. But anyway, this card is pristine. This is a Gem Mint 10. The back, gorgeous. Just surfaces, both front and back, gorgeous. Corners, front and back, mint, just Gem Mint. And this comes back a 7. So this is a factory worker who just has to give out certain grades at some point. I agree with CSV. They're making $35,000 a year in California, and that's peanuts. So this is going to be the first half of the video. I'm going to crack these two especially, and I'm going to resubmit them. And I'm going to hang on to this and add the second part of the video to this. And I'm dying to know. It's an experiment. I want to see if these come back a 10. Now, if I open them up and I see that there is damage from what I believe they did, then maybe I won't submit this card. But this one, unless I ruin it when I crack it, which I never cracked a card before in my life, it's going back. This is going to get a Gem Mint 10. And this is going to prove what CSV is saying all along. That these are factory workers. They're human beings. They're doing the best they can. They can damage cards, which they did. They damaged this edge. And this card I must have just bought. And it did have markings in there. So that's nobody's fault but mine. I bought it and I didn't. You can hardly see it. But there are, somebody took a paper clip or something or a ballpoint pen and punctured it in certain spots. So they called it an 8 marked. Anyway, I'll finish this video probably in a month or two when I get cards, when I get at least one of these cards or two of these cards back. See you then. Have a great day. Now, I purely don't recommend anybody doing this. These two cards, this card here is worthless. Probably isn't worth $5. I already spent, $22 getting it graded. This one's worth a lot more if I can turn it into a 10, because it's short print. But I don't recommend you cracking them. I've never done this before. I'm going to do it. Send them in. Hopefully I don't ruin the cards. So, again, I do not recommend you doing this, but this is an experiment. I want to see if you can turn 7s into 10s that I believe should have been 10s to begin with. Okay. Got it out. And it came out perfectly. I didn't ruin or damage this in any way. So that is a good start. Now let's do the other one, just so I can have at least one more than one card to see if it's a fluke or if these are really 7s, because they look perfect to me. Okay. Got them both out, and they are in pristine condition, luckily. I really don't recommend you doing this consistently. It's just that I have to see. It's an experiment. I just have to see if... I know they're human beings grading these cards, and they could have a bad day. These cards look perfectly centered to me, and they look like Gem Mint 10s to me. If they come back 7 or 8s, then I know I'm barking up the wrong tree. So let's see. These are going to go back in. Even though I'm losing a fortune on definitely the Rodriguez card. Hey everybody. Alright, I'm getting ready to submit this card, and I see maybe why it got a 7. But the sticker is scratched up, as you could probably see. Definitely see in this angle here. But I'm not grading the auto. The card is mint. I used this, and it's all even. I forgot what the numbers are, if they were 4-4, 3-3. The surface is pristine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Anyway, for you guys and for myself, I'm going to submit this card again to see if PSA is consistent. If this comes back a 7 again, okay, I get it. And I'm sending the other one in too. Just a little update as I get ready to send this. This sticker is gross. Now I see possibly why it got knocked down, but that's part of the auto grade, and I'm not grading the auto. Anyway, we'll see. See what I do for you guys? Hello, YouTube. Okay, the moment of truth. The cards have come back. This is the first and last time I will ever crack PSA slabs, or any slab for that matter. It's not cost effective, and it's just plain silly. Especially on these two cards, which wouldn't have been worth the value of even the grading in the first place. But for my own head, I want to see if a PSA 7 is always a PSA 7. I want to see how random PSA is or how accurate they are. Now, the problem with this thesis is these cards were sent in and I just came back and they're numbered cards. Does PSA keep a record that they graded a 1 to 5 Chris Rodriguez Jr. and a 12 of 25? If so, this experiment is foolish and silly. So, it's time to reveal now. How accurate? I watch SCV, and I agree with a lot of his videos. You know, people at PSA are human. They're trained for a couple weeks, and then I think their work is overseen by senior graders. But they're human. So if a person has a bad day, they might be harsher with grades. Also, I hear they're making between 30 to 60K a year. So is this really a great career for them, as they're barely struggling to scrape by? Is a 7 a 7? Let's find out. Chris Rodriguez was a 7. And after cracking and resubmitting, guess what? Still a 7. DeAndre Swift. Still a 7. So I gotta hand it to PSA. I believe they know what they're doing, and they have senior graders overseeing everything. And you can send these cards in until you're blue in the face, and guess what? It's not gonna flip it to a 10 in most cases. Now, with that being said, maybe I didn't use the two best cards for this experiment because they're both numbered, and maybe they have a database. Maybe they have their own database of numbered cards. And they easily just check these cards before they even grade them, or they're familiar with them because they just saw them. And of course, these are not, Caleb Williams are the most popular players. These are off-ball kind of players you'd remember because they're not that valuable. I don't know if any of this makes any sense. I think my thesis here says PSA is pretty darn accurate, as much as I hate to admit it, because everything I believe I send them, I think, is a 10. So that concludes this video. In closing, I guess a PSA 7 is a PSA 7. Let me know what you people think in the comments, will you? I would appreciate that. And if you like this, please like, subscribe, share, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, and by the way, I will not be cracking any more slabs. Waste of time, waste of money. Life's way too short. And I heard they're a lot harder to crack open now. So I will not be redoing this. I will just have to deal with what I get. See you on the next one.